All depends on how the rulemaking comes. If
Mhm.
the rule, in either way, if it creates any stress in the market because the rulemaking, because if it is challenged by any way, it will create a problem in Drayage, because what will happen is every containers coming into United States ports and rails has to be moved out of the terminal, and that is us, which is Drayage, right?
Mhm.
So any challenges created at the terminal will straight directly affect on the Drayage side, because Drayage cannot perform well unless terminals cooperate.
Right. I think the law has a provision talking about
Chassis.
like a study, I guess.
Yeah, that's again, yes, definitely a step in the right direction. But the point here is, when your chassis turnaround time is dwell time is long, because, okay, we have a labor shortage. We are missing a big point here, okay? The supply of manpower is reduced substantially somehow after pandemic. So what has happened is that is causing containers sitting on the chassis at the distribution center longer than it used to be before. So what happens is those chassis are occupied with the container. I think so, the number of it has increased a lot. I think so. One study shows it doubled than the normal dwell time or idle time for the chassis. So what has happened? I mean, chassis supply is not doubling or tripling in overnight. It takes its time to grow. So that is a part of the problem, where containers are being held at the terminal and incurring detention and demurrage because there are no chassis available to pull those boxes out. So what this rule says that, okay, fine, we will study that and kind of direct the chassis pool to how to reduce that dwell time of chassis, and how can we get this chassis back in rotation quickly so that the detention demurrage can be avoided. That's what the study they will do to get this chassis velocity going. But look, again, you can do all the studies and kind of go to the root cause of problem, but addressing is quite important. How will you address that? When you don't have manpower to empty the container, how will it get improved? So then they can give a study back to FMC, can give, okay, fine, government, hey, look, we did this study. The root cause of this dwell time is containers are not being emptied at the distribution centers in time because their labor is in short supply. So then government will take an action towards how to bring or incentivize the labor so that they work more and they can, get that thing speed up. But again, that's a process. That's a whole process. So if you ask me, yes, this is a step in the right direction to address the problem. Yes. But I think there is a long way for that. And there is not only one area which can be, addressed here. It's all across the board improvements are needed. As I explained you, labor is causing problem in the increased dwell times. Now, if you consider supply chain and labor, these are two different issues. It has nothing to do with supply chain. But unless you address this, you cannot, help improving the dwell times. It's containers are sitting on the chassis, not because there is shortage of drivers, more because shortage of labor emptying the container.